What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Manor Road Studio, home of the live podcast. I am Dale, the self-proclaimed amazing genius. That could be questionable sometime. I get that. But I do have the Hope Rock with me, which stays right here by my side. I have the Dream sign that always hangs to my right. The Alive sign that always hangs to my left. And right in front of me always says, when you feel like quitting, remember why you started. So I ran into somebody today and they said, Dale, what is your story? I said, what do you mean? What's my story? Obviously, my YouTube journey, my blogs, my podcast, kind of everything. And like in the word alive, the E is evolved. And my life has certainly evolved a lot over the last few years. And I'm probably going to fast forward to July of last year. Of 18, when my cancer came back. I spent 9 days in the hospital to learn that it spread to my bladder, my ureters. And I had to make some decisions because I ultimately lost my bladder, and I now have an external bladder called an ostomy. I also have a nephrostomy tubes on my left side that drains the fluid from the top of the kidney. So I have some things that inhibit a lot of the things I once did. I was an avid runner and swimmer. That was kind of my life. It was my getaway, my solace, everything that kind of enjoyed for basically all my life. And all of a sudden, I couldn't do that. Not so much because of the ostomy, but because of nephrostomy. And during chemo, there were so many fluctuations in my blood pressure and all that it just really wasn't safe for me to do a whole lot. And it would have been real easy to get depressed, and I know that a lot of people do, but I'm pretty driven. And so I just okay, I got to find something else, not that just occupies my time, but that becomes a passion of my time. So a lot of you see me always with a deck of cards in my hand, and I have been, for the last several months, all I do is just basically practice sleight of hand, card magic. And I also like learning. Learning has become an obsession. And I've always enjoyed learning, but now I've had the opportunity to take it to another level because I had to stop doing some of the things I were doing that occupied my time. So when you hit a roadblock in life, or you get that blindsided by something, it's easy to get down, and it's normal. It's part of humanity. Now, staying down is a choice. And, a diagnosis of terminal cancer, facing a lifetime of impotence, and having bags on both sides of your body, I was facing some pretty tough things. But I dealt with it. I moved on. I switched my passions. I found new purpose in life. And I'm as happy now as I've ever been. And I share that for a reason. A lot of you are really facing some pretty serious struggles, no doubt about it. They can be from relationships to spiritual to financial to health, whatever the case may be. And it can be traumatic. When things upset the apple cart, things make our daily routines change. Growth is good, and change only comes from growth, or growth only comes from change. But sometimes, when we get so blindsided by something, like you've got cancer, or you get that phone call that a loved one has been involved in a serious accident, or whatever the case may be, those are things in life that we've got to deal with. They don't just go away. We can compartmentalize them as much as we want to, but they ultimately have to be dealt with. And I probably deal with some of my issues quicker than some people do. I realized real quick that being that I couldn't, run, bike, or swim, I got more heavily into my writings. I love to write. I really, really enjoy blogging. If you've never read my blog, I'll just plug a little advertisement here. It's dalechildress.blogspot.com. And the main gist of my blogging has always been a spiritual undertone, and with a religious recovery kind of floating in the middle, And then at the top, what I really like to convey in as much as I can in every blog and every podcast is the fact that it's so easy for us to get indoctrinated in several things in life that before long we don't even know who we are. We don't recognize the person that we see in the mirror. And that's been a passion of mine through the Manor Road Studios Live podcast, through my blogs. I want people to realize that you don't have to accept what other people say is truth. You owe it to yourself to do your own research. I mean, you look at science. When science discovers something miraculous, they put it out to their peers for peer review to try to poke holes in it to see if it actually can hold water. So you don't have to take things at face value. You know, if somebody says, oh, you got to believe this. No, you do not. And I especially get emphatic about that when it comes to your religious beliefs. And trust me, I have my own beliefs. I'm a very, very spiritual person. I don't have an indoctrination, but I once did. I'll go ahead and say that. I broke free from it. And that's one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about religious recovery, because I see so many people that live their lives around something that they don't even know if it's true or not. So no matter what it comes to in life, you owe it to yourself to research the things that impact you. I mean, when I got diagnosed with metastatic prostate cancer, I wanted to learn a whole lot about it. I wanted to make sure I was asking the right questions, doing the right things. I wanted to know how much my mental attitude, my faculties and all that, how much they impacted my wellness or my healing or whatever the case may be. So it doesn't matter. You know, then when I wanted to learn about world religions, spirituality, not just spirituality as taught, again, by indoctrination, I wanted to really know how the mental human psyche worked when it became things like, you know, your spiritual awareness, your spiritual awakening, what really lies inside of you, what lies untapped that we haven't even begun to explore yet. I'm reading a book right now on Hinduism. I'm reading a book on Buddhism. I've read, gosh, I can't even tell you, I've got a whole library on Christianity. And obviously I was born and raised in the Christian world, so that's why I probably have more documents on that. But I've also, over the last several months, really gotten deep into exploring other possibilities. Because it really intrigues me, the people that will believe things having no earthly idea whether it's true. One thing I know factually, and boy, is this ever popular, or that's not the right word, this is very prominent on social media, is there are two sides to every story. Sure, some people say there's three, yours, mine, and the truth. But for the sake of conversation, there really are two sides to every story. So when you see somebody or hear somebody condemning another, just remember, there's a whole other side of that story that's probably polar opposite to what you're hearing. So we always owe it to ourselves to do the research. I don't care what it is you're doing. I remember when I went to Cancer Treatment Center of America, and this is back in 2008. And I was a big tea drinker. I loved my Southern sweet tea. I knew I had to let go of the sugar. The doctor overemphasized that. So I went to unsweet tea with sweet and low. And of course, naturally, do your research. People are going to go, oh, well, sweet and low will kill you too. I just happened to ask my doctor. And he said, you couldn't consume enough sweet and low for it to kill you. I'm like, okay, thanks. So there's so much misinformation pretty much in every facet of life. It doesn't matter what we do, and I overemphasize that, and I know I'm repeating myself, but do your research. Just because Johnny ate the apple doesn't mean Johnny ate the apple. I mean, when the truth came out, it may have been Ben and he may have had a peach. And things aren't always what they seem. Hence, the reason I love sleight of hand. Sometimes you see a card and you go, whoa, I thought that was a different card. Things aren't always as they seem because the hand really is quicker than the eye, and your eye only works at so many frames per second. So a lot of things move faster than you can see. Hence the forensics of a car wreck. Two people from two different angles are going to see it two totally different ways. And that's life. So if you get anything out of this podcast, I want it to be this. Don't believe everything that you hear. And for goodness sakes, don't believe everything that you think. Be teachable. You're not always right. I don't care what you think. Learn, learn, learn. It's probably one of the most important things as humans we can do. And when things are really getting you down, start journaling. Make notes. A lot of people go, I don't know why I'm down. I don't know why my anxiety is so high. And that can be true. I'm not doubting you. I'm just saying that there are some times that we really do know what's triggering our emotions. And for whatever reason, we just may not want to admit it. There are those skeletons in the closet that sometimes we put skin back on them and bring them back to life. When the old saying, just let the dead dog lie, I believe that's sometimes wise wisdom, I guess we could say. But anyway, this is going to be kind of part one about some of the things that impact my life. I'll probably do a couple of other series about it or a couple other podcasts about it. Now, next week, Chris and I are going to be on the coast in Orange Beach, Alabama, doing some podcasting from there. So I hope you are in an opportunity to stay tuned. We'll have some really, really good topics. And one of the things I want to emphasize, when it comes to faith, spirituality, and any topic that you feel like affects you, please bring it up. We'd love to tackle it. Certainly won't say we won't be right, we won't be right or wrong or whatever the case may be, but we'll be able to give it an unobjected or an objective look. So, as always, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. That should be somewhere right in here. Hit the like button. Leave me comments. I'm all over Facebook. Dale Childress, Manor Road Studio, Alive, Chris Smith. We're there. I'm on Twitter. Not really. I'm going to start working more on Twitter. I'm not on Instagram. I guess I'll have to work on that one. But for now, that's all I got. Look forward to seeing you soon. And stay tuned, and we'll bring out more what impacts me and the way I kind of get over the hump on certain things to put more pizzazz back in my life. See you soon.